So the role of a man in marriage is headship. Someone say headship.
The head of the wife is her husband. The head of the husband is Jesus Christ. And the head of Jesus Christ is God.
Headship is not a title. Headship is not a position. Rather, headship is a responsibility.
Hello, you're welcome to a love story. And if you're just coming on this channel, you need to subscribe. Yes, you need to subscribe. It's been awesome. The story has been so beautiful. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your feedbacks. And many people have been telling us they want to see. I mean, somebody just told me, was it last week or there about that? So we are waiting for your next edition. Yes, it has finally come, and we have a good gist for you.
Yes.
And even though it's our story, we know you're going to have a lot of lessons to learn, right?
Yes, you are going to.
Yeah, we want to talk to you about how we became lovebirds.
Yes.
Yeah, we became lovebirds.
How we became lovebirds.
Some of you are like, lovebirds, yeah. I haven't gone through the stress of waiting for 18 months
to receive a yes.
To receive a yes from
but
our.
The friendship started before the yes came.
Yes, the friendship started before the yes came, but it got stronger. As we started.
I think 8 months before the yes.
Yes, and first of all, what I want to let you know is that there is no other way to become lovebirds outside building strong friendship. And I remember then, one of the first things I told her when she told me yes, I said that things we're going to build relationship on. Number one is that we're going to build on trust. All right, and then love. I said to her that you will not have to work so hard to trust me. And I'm going to say that part again by the time we are ending this love story today. So maybe I should ask you, what do you think opened you up and say falling in love? Trippy for this guy, eventually, what do you think?
Okay. Yeah, I mentioned in the last video that you wanted to be my friend and I did not want to be your friend. So I literally didn't allow my emotions to slip out of my hands. So until I was ready to be your friend. So that was when I even started appreciating your beauty. Like, okay, it's fine. It's okay. And all that. So I think then I already had or developed a liking for you. So that was a template or an easy springboard on which I was able to jump into the friendship.
That's what you just said.
I just allowed myself to enjoy the friendship.
Exactly. That what you just said now has a point. It means that friendship is a thing of the heart.
Decision. I decided to
the
let
day
him be my
you
friend.
opened your heart and say, I will let this man be my friend. All right, it became easy. I mean, you can just talk to yourself, I'm going to be a friend to this person. And then it became easier. I mean, it's the same way if you have made up your mind, no matter how much I pursued you and said, you will never be my friend. It's been difficult,
Like I did earlier.
Yes, So that means basically we became friends because you made up your mind that you were going to be my friend.
Yes.
And we were really, really friends. I mean, people who were in a department together. I remember when we were done from school, because we finished from microbiology department of Bafemi Awolowo University. And we ran a very good, godly Christian relationship. I mean, that nothing was hidden.
Yes.
And yet, when you want to have dinner nights, they wanted to give us the best couple in our class. All right. And you see, it shows how close we eventually became. All right. We're so close. We're so in fact, in our church, our pastor knew how close we were. Everybody in the church were like 5 and 6. it got to a point you won't think maybe she's my younger sister, but she's actually his, like Abraham called Sarah younger sister. So, we're just everywhere, So, and I'm going to share the secret, especially for the brothers who are listening to me right now. Guys, what's the secret? How can you go from, just having a sister who probably have conviction or is just trying to like you, to building a strong friendship with you, and then to becoming a lover with you? First of all, what I did was to accept her. I accepted her, and because I already crossed, by the time I met my wife, I'd crossed into a church denomination that I changed a lot of perspective about what I believe. Before I used to be very religious, no earring, no trouser, no this, no that. And then, at the time I was pursuing her, and at the time I got her, many things have changed about me. At the time I was going after my wife, at the time I went, proposing to her, I was very religious. By the time she was going to come into my life, I've moved from being religious to being enlightened by God's word. And so when I met her, she was this still, and sister for me, where, now, and we don't mean this to rubbish anybody's conviction about this. But what I'm trying to say is there were things that no longer appealed to me that I always appreciated in a woman before, and there were things that now appeal to me that she was not at that time represented. Of course, she's over and above now. Amen. You see, you have to say amen. What can we do? We are pastors now. Bear with us. Amen. 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 So I just accepted her. Or I accepted her look, I accepted her height, I accepted her shape. For example, let me tell you something. I used to grow up having issues with my mom, and serious issues. And my mom was light in complexion, and I told myself I was going to only marry a dark, not just a black woman.
As so, black as charcoal.
Yes, and funny enough, I had some who were around me, and they were not bad people, but they were not just good for my destiny because I wasn't led to them. So I accepted, and that's the first thing. I think for her, she opened her heart to accept me. And you notice what she said. She said it was when you accepted, you said it was when you accepted to be my friend in your heart, that you took note of how I look, of my beauty. All right. That means if you don't accept a person, all right, you will never appreciate that person.
Yes.
I tell you, you will never appreciate that person. Many people get to cancer these days. I mean, thank God that you had a conviction, an angel spoke to you, heaven came out, bulls, all right, but there was no acceptance. There was no acceptance. There were things my wife accepted in me. I mean, because, for example, I'd gotten better now, but my spoken English was quite terrible, and she just accepted me. She just loved me. And then she motivated. I remember those days I'll go and get brighter grammar. She even got it for me, right? And then other books, and English book. I was in part 2, part 3, then I had to read. Even for instance, I just want to read to impress her. And that's the beauty of courtship. All right, it helps to sharpen each other. So I remember I accepted, and then she accepted. That's the acceptance was mutual. Sometimes you find a relationship where the guy or the lady is also comparing. That means you have not accepted that person. Stop comparing. Accept that person for who they are. Not comparing. You are not even like this other person. Can't you see this other person? Accept who they are. And secondly, we're always talking.
Yes.
No.
We had a very strong communication. We communicated every opportunity to
every now and then that we
on phone, face to face. Everywhere
we communicated, and we always talk. We had quality time, and one of the things that facilitated quality time was because when I was going to university, my parents never wanted me to cook, so I never had kitchen utensils throughout my university days. If I ever cooked university days, I borrowed utensils to cook. Maybe I was short of fund and I have a little money, and I felt the right way to. That was probably even very rare because I rarely cooked. So those days, I think the only time I cooked, like I remember, was when I went to visit with her, and then I cooked. Was it vegetarian egusi? I cooked
In my
egusi
home.
in our hostel. You know, Moremi hostel. Then I cooked
Yes.
egusi. It was
School was on
delicious.
break, but
Just
I was waiting for my practical in
yes,
school.
we were all doing a project then, so I cooked
Projects, lab.
egusi, and she at least I think I'm a better cook than you. Yeah.
You are a good cook, but
I'm a better cook.
let's not
I'm
say
a
it.
better cook.
Let's not say it.
Yeah. So you know, we talked a lot. I told her everything she needed to know about my past. I was sexually harassed as a young boy. I just wanted her to. I just want to tell her everything that you can't blackmail me. You can't come up now and tell my wife. She will just laugh. I've had it. All right. There was no blackmail anywhere. You know, blackmail. There were other girls who were always eyeing me, using styles. I said, see this guy, we even be cracking jokes about it, and all of that. So we communicated, we communicated. We had time to talk over food. All right. Well, thank God we're students, because the dynamics of that will change for some of us who have work to do. We are not just students, and then we were students who have the same department. We do almost the same thing. We go to the same church.
Same assignment.
So because we do the same
church.
thing, it kind of brought us together. We
were almost always together.
Always together. We do those things
almost all the time.
almost together. So we eat together, we spend together. Not so much the little we had, sometimes from her and all of that. And then when we had issues, when we disagree, we spoke about it frankly together. All right. It's not, we didn't allow any bottled up issues. Bottled up issues. And then there's an issue, and right, she asks me, then I say no, and then eventually we get to talk about it and that. But let me say something. We also fellowship together. We prayed together.
Yes.
And I can tell you,
we prayed.
We
fasted.
We fasted. We prayed.
The emphatic stress.
Yeah. We prayed. But the dynamic. Yes, we had vigils. Well, we couldn't have done lesser, because we knew the assignment of God for our lives.
Ahead
we knew.
of us.
We knew what was ahead of us.
There was no time to waste time.
And there was no time to be guessing. There are things that have happened in our life, or are still happening in our life right now, as going to happen, that we had seen ahead of time.
Yes, sir.
All right. For example, we reside in Ado-Ekiti, in Ekiti State today. We got to know that by prayer, while we're praying and fasting, and the Lord spoke to us, about it, and it's just awesome. Oftentimes when you ask people who are in relationship today, what's the name of this your person? How many children are they? I don't know. Both of them are just strangers, except that they are not strangers to their body. All right. They felt the strength of that relationship is when they are kissing and holding each other and holding tight and all of that. I can tell you for free that wouldn't in any ways, deliver a strong and healthy marriage eventually.
It weakens friendship.
I tell you, we're going to come to that, because one of the things that helped our relationships is that I felt and I will tell you this for free, because now it wasn't that we're not even tempted, we were tempted. We were tempted, and I look back and at the season when the temptations were heightened, we saw that we're not even having quality communication, because every time we come close, the temptation is to just hold. And those communications we used to have before, that deep communications about life, about destiny, what we want to do, what we perceive to do, we were not talking that deep anymore. It was our body that wants to, it's our body, because the language, the communication of your body is feeling, it's our feeling that wants to do the talking. And the challenge that if we had allowed the feeling to overwhelm us, what would have happened is that consequently, all right, we wouldn't even rather talk anymore. And then we could be having sex, and then we are strangers, far away from each other. And that's what happened.
Are miles apart.
A lady wake up tomorrow and I can't believe he dumped me. I felt we were good. What made you feel we were good was that he was sleeping with you. All right, and that doesn't mean you are good. Actually, that doesn't mean you are very, very good together. So it was communication, it was fellowship. We attended conferences together. We read books together, not just academic books. In fact, I don't think we we at the point we weren't doing so much of academics together in terms of reading, that per se. All right, but spiritual books we read together. We had outings together. We visit with each other. We just became friends. Whatever you thought you would do with your friend, we did together. Of course, because of the dynamics of what we believe our life was going to, the direction of our life. Also, I was more of a trainer to my wife then. So, but I'm not going to talk about it today. All right, but it was just about, and then we did giftings. We were giving to each other. The little I remember my wife wasn't so much or having so much financially then, but the little she had, sometimes she'll give me a pen. She'll buy a pen for me. Sometimes she'll buy 100 naira credit, put inside an envelope and give it to me. She will just look for every possible way to give to me. I was giving to her. I buy her meals. I mean, there were times we went to market to buy clothes that we could afford them, buy shoe. So because at times when people are talking about Christian relationship, what they think is the brother and sister, they're just speaking so
not that alone.
And then so when the sister says, he's not buying me things, we are not talking, we are not eating out, you feel like, okay, they are not spiritual. It's okay if the face of life you guys are at that time cannot afford that. All right, but you see, if you don't feed your friendship, it will never grow.
Yes.
And feeding your friendship is something you do deliberately.
Yes.
You have to create time for it. You have to be deliberate about it. And depending on whatever profession of life you have, whatever, and that's why it just find a center point where you do things together. Something that brings you together.
Keep
something
the
that excites you
going.
together.
Keep it rolling.
Yes, even if it's just a voice note. I remember one day, we were called from church. My pastor in church wanted to start a radio program, and we were to travel towards Elisha area, and so they wanted me to go with them because they felt I would probably know that direction. So, and I was going, and we're not married, we're still cutting. And right there, I pick up my phone and I called. I said, "See that we're on our way to so place." And my pastor said, "Wow, I like that. That's accountability." So you see, that accountability, even in relationship. All right, and the man being accountable, not just the woman being accountable. Some of you say, where are you coming from?
Mutual.
But when the girl asks you where you are coming from, you are offended. You feel like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I can come from anywhere. And if it's the girl, you feel like you are disrespectful. You see, if you are already in that kind of relationship, you are with a James Bond. All right.
Accountability has
yes,
to be
marriage. Yes, we never deny that. There was a leadership in that relationship. All right, but the leadership was never at the expense of our friendship.
Yes.
All right, our leadership was not to the extent that my wife or then my fiancé, all right, couldn't look into my face and tell me what she felt about the matter. Couldn't be blunt about what she felt about the matter. All right, she was, but I was the leader when it comes to spiritual matters, and she just gave me the room to lead where. It's very important. Okay, what do we do now? And things like that. She gave me that privileged role to lead. I call it privilege because I wasn't here married to her. So
yes.
When somebody takes that leadership as a right, no, you're
not married.
You're not married. I'm not married yet. All right. So she has a right under God to choose whether she wants to go in that direction or not. All right, but it will be very good that at least people practice leadership right now, and how to readjust, because some of us have different facets of leadership. We have been abused in leadership. So, for example, you've seen men beating mothers, and so some of ladies have had this posture that me, I would never, I know that. So, it was so nice. Let me share this particular part. The first time I heard my wife's hand, yeah. Can you remember? I remember. You know why I remember? Because after we had worked for about 2-3 minutes, my wife dropped her hand. I said, "Papa," he says, "There's something. I'm feeling something in my hand." I said,
"Is it you or me?"
It was you.
There's one that is my experience.
No, it was you.
There's one that is my own experience.
It was you. I said, "I'm feeling something in my hand. It's going to my." I said, "Which one is it?"
The one I can remember is in the net.
Whatever.
In the net, when we're
but whatever, but it happened.
Of
It
course.
happened.
That one is
now
me.
that
I
to,
remember
that
that
to
one.
tell you how frank we were in our relationship.
Yes, we were very open.
We were, we were very open.
Sincerity
We were very
saves you a lot of scars.
Babe, if we're not sincere about relationships, we'll have messed up.
Yes.
If we're not sincere about how we felt, we'll have messed
and
up.
then thinking that if you tell your partner that you want to be okay, I think we should put it this way. It's in two parts.
Yeah.
Because there are people that, in pastoring, I've seen a lot, I've heard a lot. It's not like the person doesn't want to be open. But the other person, and there are some men, if they know that you are on your period, or you are what's it called?
Ovulation now.
You are ovulating.
They take advantage.
If it's not a man that is sincere, you understand, he will take advantage, not directly, or he will do it in such a way that when the unforeseen now happens, you won't be able to hold him.
Yes,
because
that's true.
it will lead the lady on, knowing that she's ovulating and she's naturally going to she's naturally how do I put it? Her hormones are naturally high, sexual hormones. So any stimulation is going to.
Exactly.
So some guys do is that they'll do it. It's not that the lady is not the one going after them. So that at the end of the day they will say, you are the one. In fact, some people may even say you are the one that did this, that came to my house. You are the one. Meanwhile, they started the process. So for some people, because for us, I decided to be responsible for the sexual purity of our relationship. He decided to be responsible for the sexual purity of relationship. And
we're frank, we discussed it.
Do you understand?
We had boundaries. We told ourselves what we will never do.
I have a walk with God that I am protecting.
We
at
both
all
have,
costs.
yes.
So that's for me.
Yeah.
And he has a walk with God. So I'm saying this because this is how you should be free to tell each other that okay, don't come to my room today. Or even if you are together and you are discussing and you see that the atmosphere is changing, not necessarily because you are saying something lustful, but I mean you are two people that have soft spots for each other. When you are with each other, there are always butterflies in your belly.
Even your
head.
Understand?
In your head. So I mean, if I'm not more comfortable, I know that if I stay longer, I don't know, I can start hugging you in a very funny way, or I'm hugging you for too long, and I know that my mind is telling me that I want something else. So when you know things like that, you should be able to sincerity. Say it. But the issue is now, if there's one of them that is not honest or sincere.
That I heard, I know say that because there are things you've shared with me before when we were cutting. I remember there was a time we went to a mountain alone to go and pray. And that mountain was on campus.
EDM.
And every time I was praying, I was closing my eyes. You told me, you said you were opening your eyes.
Yes, because we just got engaged that time.
So which means,
even though you understand,
which means that you didn't trust me overnight.
The trust grew.
The trust grew. So just because somebody say he loves you, wants to marry you, you just hand over your trust back.
The trust grew.
You need to grow that trust to the point that, okay, I can trust this man with this information, with that information. Some of you get to tell each other some things too early. I mean, just too early, and then it breaks the strength of trust. And what have you. For example, I remember there was a time my wife, then we're cutting, then I'd moved from campus to town. And I think it was towards the finals. I can't remember what actually was happening. And you came, you came to my house that day, and suddenly you began to have itches all over your body.
Okay, yes, I
and
remember.
Particularly, let me start with itches before you mention anything. The itches were concentrated on her breast and her chest area. She was literally and it was sudden, you could feel like that. I know that, if I don't have a heart to protest, let me see, and all of that. My mind even thinking that I said, pick up the phone, let's call our pastor right now. We had the female pastor, and she went to the field and she was given an injection that stopped it. Then we discovered an allergy and stuff. So many people, will take advantage of that vulnerable
because
time.
The woman is vulnerable at that time. In fact, at that time, because when you are itching all over and it's really embarrassing, you might not even, because it's like you are not, permit me to use the word, you are not thinking straight 100%. You just want the thing to go because it's embarrassing.
Yes.
So at that point, you may not, you just want. So the guy has to be very, very sensitive to know that I must not be overtaken in, okay, I love this lady, to now say, okay, do you understand? Because when two lovers are together, especially those that are not married, that still have some boundaries that they cannot cross. There is sincerity and being alert, being on your watch is very important, because sometimes, especially Christians, you understand, who know their right from left, they know that this is what they should do and what they should not do, and they are really sincere about it. Sometimes when some of them cross the boundaries, because there is this probably something happened, just like what we said.
Yes.
Or you see maybe your fiance or your fiancé, something happened, maybe their health, and I really don't have any example in my mind, but that situation made you do something that normally you wouldn't have done.
Yes.
You understand? So at that point, the moment you know that, okay, let me give an example. You are standing with your fiancé, and maybe you are just talking, or maybe, or it's been long you saw your fiancé or your fiancée. You understand? It happened for us or with us. After he left campus, I was on campus doing one or two things and all that. So I don't know how he did it. He just changed his voice. He came to my room, he knocked the door. Do you understand?
There's a master class on that. You can register. Check the link. How to change your voice and surprise the world.
So when I opened the door of my room, I was surprised. I didn't know when I hugged him, and that had never happened. You understand? Of course, this one, some people say I was there in hug. I told you that personally,
there are hugs and there are hugs.
We personally
the hugs
set
that allow
boundaries.
vibration and electric release.
You and I know that when you hug somebody that you are in love with, like erotic love, and you hug the person face to face, you don't just want to hug like you're hugging your younger sister. You want to hug tight.
It's not like this.
It's not like this. It's like this, like tight. So, and you can't be hugging someone that you love, erotic love like that. And it's not like you are married. You have not expressed that love fully. You understand? In kissing, touching, and sexual intercourse ultimately. So there's still something longing for expression. So you need to be careful that you don't spark it.
Yes.
You need to be careful that you don't. Do you understand what I'm saying? So for us, it's really, really helped us. We had boundaries, and each time we saw that we were getting close to the boundary, we helped each other.
Some people take it. We're going to make sure we don't have sex. We're going to do everything. But
it's not majorly about sexual intercourse.
You will have all the orgasm with clothes
the
on.
orgasm,
spooning,
sex, pecking, petting, everything, oral sex, anal sex,
everything. But you said you are not smooshing,
kissing, phone sex.
Let me say something
porn.
to you. It's very important. Something happened. One of those days we were coming from church, and I was angry with we're coming from church, and because we're coming from church, she had done something that I was offended about. She didn't even know, and I was in my mind, and it was in my mind, and then she wanted us to hold hands that particular night. So, which I did. When I held hands with her, and I was feeling sexually, sexual feelings in my body, and thereafter the sexual feelings went, and I was still hungry. That day I said, wow. So sexual feeling does not communicate love at all. You could sleep with somebody you're angry with,
and when you're
done,
the
your
anger
continues.
returns double fold, actually.
And so especially for ladies,
double fold.
I'm telling you as a man, it happened to me. Because sex is not love for a man. Sex is a game. Sex is like playing table tennis. After you are done, you are done. If you know how the brain of a man works, the man focuses on one thing per time. That's the way the brain works. The day sex is in his mind, what offense you committed yesterday, you will forget in that time. At that time, have the sex. Once you are done, it returns back to that. That is a man. So never. So we are not talking about you have done everything and all of that. And this is where many people are patching some pains in marriage today. Because the foundation where they should of courtship, where they should discover themselves, they learn some of these things. All right, for example, I travel a lot this time as a man of God. I stay in hotels. My wife, I've never had to doubt. I have spiritual daughters that live in a house. She never had to doubt whether I'm having anything to do with these people. All right, because number one, I'm very accountable to her. Number two is that she could trust me. All right. See, The difference between you sleeping with a woman who you say you love that you want to marry but you are not married, and the difference between and the one you are not going to marry even after you are married is the same. There's no difference actually. You understand? Fornication and adultery is sexual immorality. It's the same thing. Fornication means you are sleeping with somebody that you are not married to. Even if you say claim you want to marry that person. Adultery is you are sleeping with somebody you are not married to when you actually are married. You understand what I'm talking about? So a person who is so given to fornication will most eventually end up in adultery. And that's it. So and then we were accountable. We have pastors over our life. And my pastor, he can pick things. So if you are sleeping around, all right, and that's the dimension in pastor. Even with our pastor, we just speak that some people are messing up, and if you are sleeping around, all right, my pastor will call you and say you are fornicating. I remember one day Pastor Funke was telling me that she just called the lady and said, "You won't fornicate." That's my eyes like, eh? I thank God that I'm not fornicating. We were very practical. I remember there was a time my wife came to Ado to assist with the work of ministry when we started, and we saw that okay, we had too much of liberty at hand. And we told us, I said, "Babe, you go back to Oshogo. Let me stay down here." All right. I mean,
helping each other, setting boundaries.
Is that not important? It's important.
It's not that I don't trust myself. We trust ourselves.
I remember I had a man of God say something, and I told him, he said, the reason why people fall into temptation is that they trust themselves too much. You
are a man, brother.
Yeah. So flee from every appearance.
You are a man,
of evil.
sister. You are a man.
Don't let pregnancy or sex be the reason why you are committed to a relationship. Marriage, that period I have slept with her, and she has slept with me. He has slept with me. If I don't marry him,
so that is virgin
me.
So I
sorry
must
for the
him.
Mistake. Sorry for the mistake.
Marriage is deeper than
For example, one of the things we're going to share in this course of sharing our stories, how we almost don't go, we almost wouldn't have been married. All right. Imagine I slept with her, all right, and I didn't get to marry her. All right. And that's why some people from one man to another man to another man. Yeah. Thank God for the time of ignorance, but we can make it right today. Friendship is not built by sex. Many times it is destroyed by sex. It's destroyed by sex.
And
the reason why
I'm
telling you, let me say something to you. Even the reason why many people feel sex is friendship, all right, is because of the deception that comes with it. All right, because especially the woman is the one that feels that way because feel like because sex means love to a woman, but it's not to a man. It's not to a man. That is why there's something about you say getting a woman into the mood. For a woman to say you have gotten into the mood, what you are saying is that okay, you have made me feel loved. All right, and a man can make a woman feel loved who is not in love with. A man can do that just for okay. Are they not prostitutes? Are there not people who are sleeping with small girls and say, I don't want to break my family, I love my wife and my children? So what is having fun? All right. But this is the point. Many people who don't have this understanding, but eventually when they get married, they replace, because I want to even say to you, I'm going to get there, they replace that friendship with sex. You understand? They replace.
You can't replace each other.
I give you 1 or 2 years thereafter, all right, you will discover that their marriage will be on fire. Because sex was never a replacement
for communication and friendship.
Let me say this. To live healthy, there are many things they will ask you to do. They say exercise, sleep, feed. All right. For example, you can eat well. If you are not sleeping here, you will not live healthy. You understand? We can be sleeping well. If we are not eating well, you will not live healthy. You see? So, all right, so we are having a good sex, but we are not feeding well. You are not going to have a good marriage.
Yes.
So you understand what I'm talking about. So many times, even as a pastor, we've seen couples who will claim to have a very good sex life, but terrible friendship, and because of that, their marriage is on fire. So, beloved friends, viewers, all right, don't ever think sex is friendship. Is never friendship.
Sex is
you
never
can't buy friendship with money, but sex can be bought. Can be bought. You can't buy friendship with money. I mean, if sex is friendship, then what kind of friendship makes some people rape other people?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a game. I tell you, it's an adventure for a male man. And the moment he's done having that adventure, he moves to the next agenda. It's the one that say, hey, yeah, oh, he loves me, he can't do without me. Don't be deceived. He will leave you.
Not that he will leave, he has left you.
And do with another person.
Because he's gaming.
Yes, so I know that. So
sex is not love, sex is not friendship.
So our friendship for over the years was not built on sex, not on touches. It was on communication. We had goals we wanted to achieve together, destiny, purpose. We attended church together. We shared things that bless us in church together. We take a walk. That's part of the technique we use those days. Anytime we're around each other, we start feeling simply let's
just take a walk.
I believe there were more courtesy in those days than now, because we can see me messing up on the road nowadays now. But we take a walk, and while we're taking a walk, we are replacing that feeling with communication. We're talking. So what happened? Then my wife remember so person, what blah 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 blah. We'll laugh. By the time we are done, we're going to come back, we're even tired. Or good night. Go to your house, and but that place of trust where it's important you both reach for each other, not just for the courtship but for the marriage. It's not something that happens over the night. You grow into it. You grow into it. You grow into it. We hope this is a blessing.
We know you have learned so much. We know.
We want your comment. We want your message.
And your questions.
Yes, very soon we are starting another series that we'll call Excuse Me, Pastor. All right, and watch out for it. We're going to be answering questions. All right, and we're going to be delivering the video
on the same YouTube channel.
So if you have questions about marriage, family life, or even questions for us, drop your questions.
As to how we did what,
and all of that,
how we handled what,
and how we handled what. So drop your questions, and we would gladly, graciously answer your questions. All right, help to subscribe, and if you are watching right now, help to share as well. We love you.
Bye. See you later. Share the video.